Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. I'm going to play this video and talk about things that are going on, to better explain what's going on, and talk about things that I think that have been done right and are done wrong. Here we go.
Hello, I'm Sergeant Phil Krinsky with the Phoenix Police Department's Public Affairs Bureau. The information, audio, pictures, and videos you're about to see are intended to provide details as we currently understand them of an officer-involved shooting that occurred on February 25th, 2023. The following video and audio clips were collected from various sources from the Phoenix Police Department. These sources include body-worn cameras and radio communication calls. Body-worn cameras are used by all officers assigned to patrol and several specialty units. Per policy, they are worn at mid-torso level and capture the view of the line of sight from that perspective. It is important to note that the camera lens is fixed and does not capture everything seen or experienced by the officer. When activated, both audio and video turn on. The body-worn camera has a buffer of video without audio for 30 seconds prior to activation. This feature is designed to capture incidents that happen suddenly when the officer doesn't immediately activate the camera. This video may contain strong language as well as graphic images, which could be disturbing to some people. Viewer discretion is advised. This incident began in the area of Central Avenue and Bell Road around 2:30 in the afternoon when Phoenix police received a 911 call of a man driving erratically, swerving in the roadway, and openly drinking alcohol while driving. The caller also indicated that the driver nearly hit a pedestrian while following him to an apartment complex at 17,617 North 9th Street. Here's a portion of the initial 911 call made by the caller.
Phoenix 911, what is the address of your emergency?
It's East on Bell Road and Central. There is a woman drinking like an open vodka bottle. She almost hit a pedestrian, two cars, and driving on the median, and she was driving at a high rate of speed.
Okay, which direction is she going? You said eastbound?
Eastbound on Bell Road. She's eastbound at 3rd Street right now in a gray Tundra.
The next audio clip captures the call being dispatched to officers. 223 George is the call sign of the 1st Patrol Unit responding to the radio call.
223 George, Charlie 2.
223 George, it's the following 390 David. They're now going to be at 7th Street in Bell. It's going to be in a white lifted Ford F-150. He's following a Hispanic or Indian male, Hispanic female or Indian male in a gray Toyota Tundra license plate that's swerving in and out of the lanes and almost hit somebody. They said that they're now northbound on 9th Street from Bell. They saw the 101 drinking from a vodka bottle.
At about 2:40 p.m., Phoenix officers responded to the apartments at 17,617 North 9th Street and found the vehicle described by the caller backed into a parking spot. The driver turned out to be a man reclined behind the wheel. One of the officers moved up to the passenger side of the truck and noticed there was a rifle in the front console area. Here's the initial contact officers made with the driver.
Here's an AR right there. Keep an eye on him while you're with the driver's hand. How's it going? Go ahead and step out of the vehicle for me, please. Any other weapons on you?
No.
Alright. You turn around and just pat you down, make sure you have no weapons, alright? I know I see multiple inside the vehicle there, so nothing inside your. I'm gonna take this one. Yes.
After having the man get
Back that up real quick. So you can see right there in that front seat is literally a rifle.
After having the man get out of the truck, officers saw a handgun in the driver's door pocket. Officers had the man moved to the back quarter panel of the truck as they began to conduct a DUI investigation. One officer returned to his patrol vehicle to conduct a records check on the driver, and a second officer stayed with the driver. A few moments later, the officer sees the driver move towards the open driver's door and grab the handgun. The officer grabs the man from behind, and the two struggled for control of the handgun. The officer doing the records check sees the commotion and comes back with his duty weapon out and fires one shot at the man. The following body-worn camera clip is from the perspective of the officer who struggled with the man. You will see the officer holding his gun against the man, but he does not fire.
So keep in mind, this handgun is in the door pocket of this open driver's side door.
What are you doing? Hey! Get up! He's grabbing his gun. Man down.
998.
Next is the body-worn camera from the officer involved in the shooting.
Get up! He's grabbing his gun. Man down. 998.
Here's the same video slowed down, showing the man holding the handgun as the officer is struggling with the man. After the shooting, officers provided life-saving measures until the Phoenix Fire Department arrived on scene. The man was then taken to a local hospital where he did not survive his injuries. Here's a picture of the handgun recovered on scene. The officer involved in this incident is assigned to the Black Mountain Precinct and has over 14 years of service with the department. This incident is the subject of a criminal investigation, which will be reviewed by the Maricopa County Attorney's Office. It is also the subject of an administrative investigation. Conclusions about whether the actions of the officers are consistent with department policy and the law will not be made until all facts are known and the investigation is complete.
This video was intended to inform and educate the public.
People being passed out in their car is kind of a surprising occurrence. Or you'd be surprised about how often this occurs. Sometimes people even pass out at a fucking stoplight. Like they'll be so drunk or high, thankfully they stop at the red light. And then as they're waiting there, they pass out. A lot of them end up passing out in parking lots. Engine running. It's just, like I said, it's amazing. You'd be surprised about how often this happens. The positioning of the patrol car, I think, is good. That's a decent tactic. You roll in, and you can block them in. Because sometimes these people like to, they like to take off. If there are spike strips in the vehicle, and you notice the person's passed out, go ahead and get those spike strips and set them under their wheels. That way, if they do take off, boom. They're going to have deflated tires, and they're not going to have a very effective means of escaping fully. They can still drive on, flattened tires, but they're not going to be getting very far. The vehicle here, I don't know how much of a gap there is between the vehicle. Go back up to this first officer who... So it's going to be difficult to tell, but there is a gap here. Replay it. See if I can pause it just in time. So there's a gap there. This is probably the best freeze frame I'm going to get. There is a gap. That small amount of gap is still enough space for this guy to maximize that and get out of this. When you go to put your vehicle to another vehicle, you need to be kissing bumpers. When you take away that space, you take away their ability to get a purchase point and work with that. Now, the downside, even if they do kiss the bumper here, the downside is this guy's in a truck. All he has to do is back up a little bit over the curb. Now he's going to create distance between the bumpers. Now he can turn that wheel this way and escape out this way. Cause some damage to the front, scraping along the front of the patrol car, but he's still going to be able to get out at this point. So even pulling the vehicle in and doing bumper to bumper, this guy can still escape out of that, which is why I said if they had spike strips, the best thing to do is, 1, kiss bumpers, but 2, put the spike strips under the tires. That way, if he decides to take off, then he's going to have some flattened tires during this pursuit, and he won't be able to get up to really good speeds and maneuver the vehicle as easily. They immediately notice that, 1, he has a rifle in the passenger seat, and then they get him out, and they notice that there is a handgun in the door frame. Or not the door frame, but the door pocket. It's America. You can have guns. Second Amendment, baby, right? So just because he has guns doesn't mean there's anything wrong going on. Him being drunk and driving, on the other hand, that's a different story. So although him being in possession of the guns is not a crime or anything, the circumstances that are going on, he's most likely intoxicated, has committed some traffic violations, obviously, and then has committed the offense of DUI. They're investigating this crime. And because he's potentially in the influence, and you have no idea what is going on before that, like, why is he acting so recklessly? Why is he riding around with the AR in his passenger seat like that? Has he incurred some type of big break in life? Like, has he lost his job? He broke up with the love of his life? What's going on? Is this guy on a suicide mission or something? Like, what is going on with him? They don't know. They don't know if there's something like that going on. So obviously they're going to have to keep in the back of their mind that this guy could become a threat at any moment. Just like anyone. Anybody could become a threat at any moment. Even the 80-year-old grandmother with the white hair could become a threat at any moment. Is it very likely? No, not as likely as compared to some other people. But there's always that possibility. And there have been some 80-year-old women who've gone postal. The fact that the gun was in the door pocket and they left the car door open like that the entire time, I think that was a failure. I think they made it too easy for this guy to go for the guns. Now, his rings are interesting. So we have this little Spartan ring right here. So it makes me wonder if there was something going on with this guy. Like something, he's in a nicer vehicle, right? It's not a beat up piece of shit. It's a nice car. It's a nice truck. He's got some jewelry on, and the Spartan thing sticks out to me. Is he a gun guy? Does he follow that kind of path in life? Him having the AR-15 in the passenger seat, Glock in the door pocket, and it being a Glock that I think, let's look at this real quick.
Scene. Picture of the handgun recovered on scene. The officer. Here's a picture of the handgun recovered on hospital where he did not survive his injuries. Here's a picture of the handgun recovered on scene.
So, the damn caption thing gets in the fucking way. So this is a newer model Glock, right? And he's got the red dot on there. He's got a cheaper holster, but he's got a newer model Glock with a red dot on there. Could he have stole it? Yeah, sure. But the vehicle, this gun, the rifle, the jewelry. Let's see if we can get a better look at the guy. Which they blur his face when he gets out. The clothing.
Go ahead and step out of the vehicle for me, please. Any other weapons on you?
Like, he does not look like a typical quote-unquote bad guy.
No.
Alright. You turn around and...
He's got some typical stuff inside the vehicle. Nothing, like, screams out to me that, this guy's some freaking deadbeat criminal who's in this criminal lifestyle, slinging dope, breaking into people's shit, blah, 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 blah. Necklace, like, he looks like a normal dude which, being a normal dude doesn't mean that, he's excluded from doing stupid shit like driving around drunk or anything like that. But he looks like a normal dude who's to some degree, at one point, has had his shit together to have a nice truck like that, have guns like that, and the way he's dressed. So I would not be surprised to find out if this guy had something happen in his life where he's kind of gone off the deep end. And then this right here was just kind of the final moment for him to be done with life, and that he initiated a suicide by police type of incident here. I don't think he was like I said, a dirtbag criminal going to try and shoot his way out of this and escape. He could have easily just turned around. I think he initiated a suicide by police type of ordeal. I think that if they close this door, which again, just closing the door is not going to stop him from opening it, but it could have further delayed him and prevented him from getting access to this thing as easily as he did. So I'm not a big fan of how they left that door open. So he, for sure, would have been justified in popping rounds into this guy's back. And so I've talked about this before in some other videos where people have been shot in the back. Although he was not shot in the back, this officer would have been completely justified in doing so. And in these other videos where people have been shot in the back, I talk about how a lot of people in general just seem to have this mindset or this thought that shooting people in the back is just inherently wrong. It's like the worst thing to do. And I don't really get that. I don't fully understand that, and I don't believe in that either. I think there are times when it is perfectly acceptable to shoot a person in the back. And this is one of them. He was trying to gain control over the gun with his non-dominant hand and get a hold of it. Wasn't winning that fight very well. He's got his gun out in his dominant hand, and he had it pressed to this guy's back. If it came to him needing to deploy deadly physical force, he would have been fully justified. I would have had no problem if he just would have popped several rounds into this guy's back. I have no problem with that whatsoever. But for some reason, there are some people who do have a problem with that. And these are unrealistic people. I don't think that these people fully understand the mechanics of fighting. I think they base a lot of their bullshit mindset and beliefs and everything off of Hollywood, like shit they see in movies and TV. That seems to be kind of the gist I get from some of these people when they say stuff like that.
He's grabbing his gun. Man down.
Furthermore, when firing into close proximity into someone like this is why I like weapon-mounted lights on a pistol to actually protrude past the muzzle. Because let's say he pressed this gun in this guy's back without a weapon-mounted light on the gun. You press your gun into an object like a human body, you can push the slide backwards just a little bit and it go out of battery. And you pull the trigger, nothing happens because it's out of battery. With a weapon-mounted light, that creates standoff. So when you press this gun into someone, the weapon-mounted light is what is mostly taking all the pressure from the object that you're pressing into it and significantly reduces the chances of this slide being pushed back out of battery. I've seen weapon-mounted lights that are obviously more compact and take away this protrusion, and some people seem to like it. I'm not a big fan of those type of lights. I am perfectly fine with this weapon-mounted light sticking out further than the muzzle because it gives me that standoff ability in the event I want to press this, or I have to press this gun into someone and end up pulling the trigger. I don't want my slide going out of battery. Notice the rifle mount right here, or the long gun mount. There's no long gun in here, so where their long gun is, I have no idea. You see a mount right here and a mount right there. So this looks like a dual long gun tree. Possible shotgun right here and rifle right there. Where those are at, I don't know. They might be in the cargo hold of the vehicle, possibly. I have no idea. But the fact they have that right there and there's no long guns in there piques my interest, and I think that needs to be resolved. That's fast. Like, he came in, quickly assessed what was going on. This wasn't just a guy trying to escape, get in the car. He's got a gun. Boom. He makes a shot. With the officer being super close.
He's grabbing his gun. Man down. Get not. Get not. Get not.
So when he fires, his gun's a little bit closer than what we can tell in the camera. Because he fires, there's a little bit of a time delay, just a little bit. And he very quickly moves the gun back. So the gun was a lot closer to the guy's head than what we could see. We just don't get to see it on camera. The only time this gun comes into view is when he starts to back away from the guy. That's an important thing when you're going to be shooting close to someone else. Get in close, especially if you got a handgun. Because the further back you are, the more you increase the likelihood of the other person getting shot. So in this context right here, it would have been perfectly acceptable if he would have taken that pistol, rammed it straight into that dude's face, and popped a round off. And he almost, I think, essentially did that. I don't think he made contact with the dude's head or face, but I think he got it super close, popped a round off into the dude's dome, and stopped the fight right there. It would have been unsafe for him to try to aim into this guy's center mass because of the positioning. He would have put this officer at risk of being shot, especially within his arm, if he tried to go for the chest. So for him, the best possible target was this dude's head or face. And it's instantaneous. The dude just drops.
Get up!
You even start to see some of the blood starting to drip onto the ground there outside the blur box. If you play it a few times, you'll see it.
He's grabbing his gun. Man down.
Here's the same video slowed down showing the man holding the handgun as the officer is struggling with the man.
I mean, the dude's got a grip on the gun. So you can see the officer's hand, his arm in his hand. He's got a reach on top of the gun here, but this dude's got a grip on it. He's got a grip on the gun. Not a good one, but he's still got a grip.
After the shooting, officers provided life-saving measures until the Phoenix Fire Department arrived.
I don't know what kind of life-saving measures they would have provided for him. Not many people survive headshots. Alright, that's it on this video. I don't know anything else about this guy or the circumstances or anything like that. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching.